Hello and welcome to the Inventors Arena. I'm Ed and this is Scott, and today we're going to introduce ourselves to you. Scott?
Yeah, I think before we introduce ourselves individually, we should let the audience know a little bit about why we are here and why we are working together. My expertise is the business management side, and we have noticed over the years that a lot of inventors have great ideas, but they don't know the business side to bring them to market.
Often.
And you know the patent side, you know the intellectual property aspect of it, which is also very important to the inventors. And it's rare that both the inventor has experience in both of those areas. And we've noticed that over time. So that's what has joined us together to create the Inventors Arena to help bridge that gap that we see between the business side of monetizing an idea along with protecting it and bringing it to market.
Yes.
So along with that, we have seen lots of inventors struggle.
Yes.
They have great ideas. They've crafted them on a napkin or a piece of paper, but they don't know how to bring them to market. And then they quickly realize, wow, I have to wear many hats. And some of those hats I haven't identified yet, but I know at some point in time, I'm going to need funding. Mm-hmm. And probably to get funding, I'm going to need to pitch to investors, which I've never done before. And before I can pitch to investors, I'm going to have to create a business plan to give to them, which I've never done before. And I'm probably going to want to package that idea into a patent, which I've never done before. So we've learned over time that inventors have great ideas, but only about 5% of them ever bring them to market where they actually monetize those ideas. And it's because of that gap that you and I have identified and why we created the Inventors Arena.
Correct.
Yeah. We mentioned lack of funding because at some point in time, you run out of your own money. You run out of your family's money. You run out of your friends' money. Sometimes you don't have any more friends after that. We've seen that too as well. I mean, it can be a contentious thing. Funding a project and an idea all the way to fruition, it takes a lot of money in today's world. And we've noticed that many inventors struggle with that.
They do.
And we help them with that. So the 5%, you and I have talked about this before, of the people that monetize or commercialize or make money from their idea, we view that as unacceptable. We want that number to grow and be double digit at least, in a very short amount of time. So we've been going out and meeting with investors, meeting with inventors, meeting with inventor groups, trying to help bridge that gap to help more inventors come to market successfully. Mm-hmm. And along with that, we've really been visiting a lot of inventor groups.
Yes.
And we've done another video on the importance and significance of inventor groups that have been struggling since COVID. But we see great value in those inventor groups. And we've been traveling around and actually presenting at some of them with some of our knowledge to help move them forward.
Yes. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about your background, Scott.
Sure. I've been doing this for 32 years. I know I don't look like it, but I've been doing this for 32 years, usually on the business management side, from small inventors, entrepreneurs, startup people that have an idea, all the way up through to Fortune 500 companies. I've written hundreds of business plans over the years, some of them in the $1 billion range, one of them approved by the IRS as a tax shelter, $200 million tax shelter. If an inventor can create it, we can create the business model and the plan to help them get to wherever they want to be. And I've been doing that now, as I said, for 30 plus years. I'm certified as a business negotiator, so when it gets time for the inventors to sit across the table with the investor and try to negotiate that deal, I can be there to help, prep them beforehand and then help them negotiate the deal while they're sitting there at the table. And I have a lot of experience in what I call strategic relationships. It's helping the inventor find the right group of people and companies they need to move forward. And investors is part of that, but sometimes it's a manufacturer, sometimes it's a distributor. You never know. So I help them either form a joint venture, strategic alliance, merger, or acquisition.
Very good. Yeah, and as Scott mentioned before, my background is as a patent agent and specifically as mechanical engineering and project engineering management. And during the time, I've written thousands of patents, Had some teams that did that to help me as well. And what I found during the course of events is, like I said before, inventors quite often running out of money, just running out of effort, and just having a really struggle. And
They do.
and a lot of times they thought that getting the patent was kind of the end of the road, and that some magic money truck was going to back up to your front doorstep and dump a whole bunch of money there for you. And that's just not the reality of it. Uh, so getting that patent, we wanted it to be more than just a good wall decoration, right? We want it to be monetized as much as you possibly can, right? So that you can make some money and get it out there on the shelf and help society by your inventions, whatever you've made that's novel. So we see the need for help in developing the invention to a professional level such that it's ready for the market, because oftentimes when you go look on those shelves, you kind of take it for granted until you're really paying attention. But you see the stuff out there, and it works well generally, and it's professionally, whether it's packaged really nice and it's got its disclaimers, it's the whole package, right?
Yep.
So we want to share that knowledge. So me as a patent agent and engineering, and Scott with the business side. So we both joined because there are some very important elements, and having that know-how really sets you apart rather than just hoping that everything's going to work out right with whatever knowledge you got. Because generally inventors are spectacular at inventing, and business people are really good at doing business. But if you got them both together, that's a real good combo.
And it takes both. I mean,
Yes.
It really takes both sides. So you look at it as a coin, it takes both sides of the same coin to do that. I have to talk a little bit about business plans, okay? Because most inventors will go online and they'll find a generic template. And most of the time, an investor will recognize that in about 5, 6, 7 seconds, that this is an online template. It doesn't have all of the sophistication and the information that I need. And they hit delete. Actually, a lot of times they don't even get to see it. If it's a VC firm, it's a clerk that reviews it who says, this is a template. I'm not even going to waste the investor's time looking at this.
Which is sad.
It is, because it's a good idea. They just didn't know how to package it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's what a business plan is. It is a package. It's the way you package your ideas, including how you're going to monetize it, and you present it to people that you want to invest in your company, maybe strategic partners, could be a manufacturer that you need who says, it sounds good, but let me see the business plan. I don't know if I want to tool up for this or not, which we've faced a lot of times. Most business plans lack strategy.
That's correct.
They have a goal, they have an income statement, projected revenues of however many millions of dollars that, they're sometimes very unrealistic in the real world. And what we learned when we back up and we start reading the business plan is there's no strategy to generate those millions of dollars. And the investors see that immediately.
Yes.
They recognize that. And that's pretty much the end of your discussion with the investor. The other thing the investors see is, who's your customer? And if you haven't clearly identified who that is in that business plan, that's a red flag for them.
It is.
As they want you to get into detail. Who is it? What's the socio-demographic? Are you going to be a low-cost, best value, high-cost provider to them? They want to know all of the details, because when you think about it, if you don't get a customer, you don't make revenue. And if you don't make revenue, they don't get a return. So they want to know everything that you know about that customer, that customer base that's out there. And then you have to know about the general marketplace and the competition.
Yes, very important.
What you're saying about the competition, we hear all the time.
A lot of people say, it's just such a new idea that I have no competition.
No competition. That's another thing that shuts down the investor meeting.
Yeah, so this meeting is over.
Yeah, because they recognize that if they're not spending money with you, they're spending it with somebody else.
Yeah, and for you to have that knowledge of it, I mean, it's obvious you haven't done your homework if you say, just flippantly, like, there's no competition. They're like, well,
yeah, there is. You really have to know your competition. So throughout the Inventors Arena, we help build a strategic business plan, know who the customer is, knowing what the market is, studying the competition, providing all of those things to prep you really to sit down at that table with an investor. But even if you're not, it still helps you prep and get ready to bring your idea to marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, it's important to know all these things. It's also important to know yourself and your invention, right? Like during the course, we're doing the search and we're doing the market analysis and so forth. So you really have to know your invention and define it really well. And then knowing yourself is important. And a lot of people just take that for granted. But I think that until you really explore yourself and you explore your invention, you don't really know it. And so it's awfully hard to tell the other people that are asking about it what it's all about in depth and in like a short amount of time, that pitch time, right? And so part of that is defining your invention and your market. So we make it so that you're all up to speed on that stuff.
And if you're struggling with getting up to speed on all of that, we also want to remind everybody there are a lot of inventor groups across
Yes,
the United
sure.
States, and they are a great resource. It's a great way to find potential partners, maybe some funders, and knowledge, because as we said earlier, you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
And they offer workshops and a lot of programs to help you move forward, making progress from what we call concept to cash. So if you don't know inventor groups out there, you can go to our website, theinventorsarena.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. You'll see a map, and we list the inventor groups across the United States. Find the one that's closest to you and make sure you attend regularly, we would hope, but whenever you can, an inventor group meeting and become part of that environment.
Yes.
That's very important. So,
very positive.
you mentioned earlier about the humility part of it, and for an inventor, this can be very challenging because you're great at what you've created. You know your idea, your concept, but you have no idea all of the business side of it and what you need to bring it to market to actually monetize it. They don't know how to file a patent. They don't even know how to do a patent search. So you have to help work them through that process, which we do in the Inventors Arena. They don't know how to do a business plan. They've never written a business plan in their life. They've probably never read a business plan in their life. So we have a template in the Inventors Arena to help them do that. We try to provide all of those resources because we recognize, as we said earlier, you're wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
And this is the first time you've worn many of those hats. And you really don't know what you're supposed to do. And that can be challenging.
It sure can.
That's it takes somebody with a lot of confidence. And I know you're going to talk more about confidence later, but you have to really be confident in your idea, your concept, because if you're not, when you sit with the investor, they see that immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this meeting is over. 15 minutes? Okay.
That's right. Well, you got to be just so prepared to pitch properly and professionally to an investor, right?
Yeah. You've got to know your numbers, for example, because you're asking them for money. So they're asking you for numbers in exchange for that. Okay? We talked about the customer and the fact that you need to generate revenue, and they're going to want to know how much revenue are you going to generate? What's the break-even analysis? What's the return on investment? There are red flags that they don't like, which we talk about in the Inventors Arena, like if you're going to ask for $1 million, don't spend $800,000 of it on your own salary.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. They don't like that. But we help you work through those calculations, including how to value your idea and your company. Because before you can sit with an investor and say, Shark Tank-ish, I need $1 million and I'm willing to give up X percent, 10% of my business. How do you know that?
That's right.
Until you run through the calculations, you don't know those numbers. And the investors will pick up on that very early. So you have to do your homework. You have to be prepared. You have to be confident when you sit at the table.
Absolutely. Do your homework.
Do your homework.
So I'm going to skip a little bit to mentorship now too. There's just so much, like especially with the inventors groups, just available mentorship. You got that experience to share. Lots of folks in the crowd are just happy to share their experience of 20, 30 years sometimes with, it could come to anything as far as packaging, or it could come to, how they believe it should be engineered or whatever, all kinds of experience they're happy to share. And you should be happy to share it too. And just having that humility, you don't know what you don't know, right? So go and seek it out. And when you get that opportunity, trade experience for youthful help or for technology help for them or something, just anything that's of value, because then it becomes a really nice, comfortable two-way street to travel on.
Ed, for us, success is usually seeing an inventor come all the way through from concept to cash. We love to see them monetize their idea
Sure do.
and make money. And what does that mean? What does it mean to make money? There are multiple ways to make money. I mean, I can probably give you 7 or 8 strategies. You give me a business, I can give you 7 or 8 strategies to make money, all different revenue streams. And inventors have the idea, but oftentimes they don't know the best way to monetize it. So sometimes they say, well, I'm going to ask for X number of dollars from an investor and I'm going to start up a manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What have you experienced with
that?
A
lot of manufacturing works fine for some folks that are, say, already in the industry and they might have a product line or something like that already rolling along, and they probably got access to good credit and so forth. And it's great to create jobs and so forth. But a lot of times manufacturing means you empty your savings account to fill up your garage full of whatever items and pay for stuff, and then you're going to try to sell it, and then you're going to try to count for it, and on and on and on. And it's just a big bite. And often I find folks like to go to the licensing side of things, because pretty much they're letting somebody else, within reason, take over on things, and they watch it, of course, but you're getting your check in the mail and you're not expending tons and tons of time and effort and that. And so there's a lot of advantages to licensing.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to make money and from an idea, and a lot of strategies to get there. So they need to sit down with people like us to help figure out, I don't want to be a manufacturer. I think I'll just license this to somebody and sit back and take my royalty check.
Yeah, exactly. So as I mentioned before, we're always here to help. Inventors groups are just down the street from you, most of you. And Inventors Arena will continue to deliver content on this YouTube channel. Check out the program at theinventorsarena.com. And we really want to hear from you folks, what things you want to hear. We're going to be talking about everything inventor related. So that could be from soup to nuts.
Yeah. Provide us with your ideas. Reach out to us. We'll either get back to you one-on-one, or if we think it's a great idea, we'll put it on our YouTube channel. We'll have a discussion about it. And if you are enjoying and finding value in our content, we hope you would like and subscribe.
Yes, subscribe and thumbs up. See you next week.
The inventors are